For the directors, how did you approach the family and tell them that you were the right people for this job? And how do you agree to directors? What are they telling you that's convincing you that these are the right guys to tell our story?
I mean, we didn't approach the family. So Daniel Kilroy, which is an archive producer, approached the family and sort of started working with you guys in getting, your interest, picking your interest in potentially be the right time to tell Christopher Reeve's story. And then you can ask these lovely people, why did they pick those two Muppets?
Right, it's a special story. It requires a certain touch. Did you feel confident, and how did they talk to you about it?
Well, firstly, from the previous work, we watched McQueen and we watched Rising Phoenix, and just based on that alone, it felt like, creatively, they were the right guys for it. And then we actually got to meet them and talk to them, and got to know them as people, because this was going to be a close collaboration for a long period of time, and kind of like them. They're all right. And,
we don't support the same football team, so that's
it's problematic.
No, really, I think that that's an important question that often doesn't get asked. Let me ask you another question that I'm sure there's an idea here. The title has a slash in it, Superman. Can we speak to why that is?
Well, I mean,
good question.
It's a really good question. We really wanted to have Superman in the title, because not just because of the brand and the IP and all of that stuff, and the fact that Chris played the role, but because he was a real-life superhero. And in a sense, then putting a slash in the middle emphasized that he wasn't just a superhero, he was also a man. So that was the thinking behind it.
And I don't know if the slash, actually, if you've seen the main title, is a little bit of reminiscing of the kryptonite. So that, again, is to play on that, on that. I mean, to say that still, Superman is still such a massive, iconic legacy in our pop culture that we shouldn't have walked away from it. We really wanted Christopher Reeve to be in it as well, but because we actually, the way we approach the documentary was a movie attitude, so we like to elevate visually our documentaries in terms of the narrative. The title sounded big as well, sounded cinematic, sounded, in a way, sounded representative of the legacy that Christopher has left as an artist, an actor, but as well as an activist. So,
a question for the family. Do you feel it's your responsibility to tell the story when you are on camera and really feeling it? And it strikes me that it must be hard for you.
I don't think it's a responsibility, it's an honor. If you shift your mindset, we as siblings and as our father's children have our own fulfilling, meaningful, purposeful lives that we have lived for a long time and will continue to do, but a part of our lives is being our father's children, and part of that comes with maintaining his legacy and my mom Dana Reeve's legacy. And so I didn't think it was a responsibility to sit for this documentary, sit in an interview and be vulnerable and raw. I felt that it was an honor, and it was the opportunity to get to do that, to share my experiences and memories and feelings of an incredibly formative time in all of our lives, and see what these amazing filmmakers created. And we're very pleased with the result.
It's a very powerful movie, and there's a very well-spoken piece of wisdom in it that you convey, which is that you're still you, and I love you. And that's the moment when the documentary really crystallizes. How often in your own lives do you find yourself saying that to you, and like using that as advice for yourself?
There's so much of what Dad said, taught us, demonstrated, exemplified, that I'm not sure if I ever hone in on sort of one specific phrase or sentence or distill it down to that. It's more of a mindset and an approach to living, certainly an approach to problems, a reminder that what you might think maybe a huge challenge really isn't, and there's always, you know, someone somewhere certainly has it way worse than you, and a whole host of kind of approaches to, you know, how to be the best person you can be, because he really was. And everything from, you know, what I try to live more by is like his sense of discipline, his commitment to his craft, his profession, his advocacy, his passion, his individuality. So yeah, there's a whole host of things rather than just distilling it to like that one phrase, because that was very specific to kind of him. I haven't gone through a life-changing, debilitating accident. So it's like, you know, it's which is what I think Dana was telling him there.
And I take your point, and there is so much to be inspired by in his craft and his discipline and his talent. There's also, I think this is very bold of the film, that it accommodates how difficult his relationship with his own father, and how parenting for him was something that he grew into, and something, and I hope I'm putting it in a way that's gentle and not, you know, it's something that I think that he became even more super in a lot of ways after his accident. Are there things that you wish you could tell him now as your father?
One of the things when somebody goes through a near-death experience, you know to be so grateful for every moment that you have. And so one of the things that I feel so happy is not much was left unsaid in our family. Yeah. We knew that every moment was a gift, and we knew to be grateful for it. And so that, you know, that's one thing that I hold, and it's a good reminder in my current life today, you know, say things while people are still here to hear them. I will say, though, that when you work on a film like this, when we saw the final product, you know, we put this great leap of faith and didn't know what was going to come back, and these guys told a beautiful story. It makes us so proud to see it told in this way, and to see, you know, the story of a life well lived, with its complexity, you know, with the highs and the lows, and the fact that he wasn't a perfect man, but he was a strong man who overcame those challenges. I wish he knew that we're sitting here on the other side just as proud as I hope he wanted us to be.
Yeah, I would say, hey, Dad, we turned out okay, huh? Thank you.
You certainly did.
Yeah.
And it is such a beautiful piece of work. And I've seen a lot of documentaries at many Sundances. This sticks with me. Thank you, guys.